it's really disturbing to me how hungry the administration was to just make this just about regular left-leaning people. They were hungry.
It was rabid.
This is Hysteria, the podcast for people who are suddenly locked in on Candace Owens. It is a problematic lock-in. Alyssa, probably my most problematic lock-in I've ever had. It's a weird time. Alyssa, the face you are making is agape.
Because you mentioned, we were talking about Candace Owens the other night, and I had a bunch of laundry to fold. So I was like, I don't know. I've never really listened to this person. Let me sit down. And an hour and a half later, I had listened to Candace Owens go off, and my laundry was folded, but my heart was
racing.
Broken. Yeah, like it was. I was like, I need to take a walk outside and do that, like that eye thing where you like shift your eyes back and forth looking at nature, so your heart rate goes down and you become less anxious.
Wait, is that really a trick that works?
Oh, 100%.
What?
If you go outside and you go walking and you consciously look from side to side, it like does something to your brain and it really helps with anxiety. And
wow.
it did. I walked my cul-de-sac up the way and I was like, whew. Yeah. She is a journey.
She's a lot. The reason that I'm locked in is not because I'm into that stuff. She is just a very, she's like, anti-Semitism aside, she is a very good storyteller telling a very interesting story right now.
Yes, this is what we talked about. It's like we stipulate to all the highly problematic things, but when you're looking at people who can communicate, she's a good communicator.
Mm-hmm. She's a good communicator. She's got a good pod setup, good lighting.
She's got like a good voice.
Got a good voice, unlike, some certain wives of Stephen Miller. I think what's really interesting right now, and I think part of the reason I'm locked in is because when Charlie Kirk was shot and killed last week, Wednesday, literally like hours after we got out of this, maybe an hour after we got done recording, the thing that scared me the most in the days after was that there was going to be some sort of like just eruption of political violence beyond what has already erupted in this country, and that it was going to be aimed exclusively at people on the left who speak up in favor of left-leaning political views. But really what it's feeling like now is that we're watching this really odd finger-pointing civil war that looks like it's starting to engulf like the far right. Yeah. The MAGA right, the grifter right. And so we're going to kind of, I don't really want to talk about, I'm not trying to get anyone fired here, by talking about the legacy of somebody that had like a complicated way of interacting with the American public. But I am interested in the conflict that's been ensuing and how it reflects the culture that we're living in right now. So last week after Kirk was shot and killed, rumors swirled about the motivation and ideology of the perpetrator. Like before we even knew who he was. Right. Although we did know he was a he because like women don't do this. This is more man on man.
It's safe to say.
This is right. But before people even knew who he was or why he'd done it or had any clue whatsoever to like what was going on, we had people from just random online people with no information to the fucking leaders of the free world openly speculating and insisting that this was the result of leftist ideology and this is why the left is evil and this is why they are going to be attacked. They have it coming. There's this big war on they. And we all kind of already knew that they've always wanted to declare war on they, them. So it made sense. But, it turns out that it was a lot more complicated, right? Yeah. So we're still learning about who the person was that did it. We're also still seeing people like Utah Governor Spencer Cox and Donald Trump and figures like J.D. Vance who hosted a podcast because apparently
from his office.
So weird. Like there's a political assassination and you host an emergency podcast. Like
that was pretty brain melting.
But like whatever. I'm just going to put that aside because I could talk probably for 15 minutes about what a weird move that was. And like you pointed out in our production meeting, Alyssa, J.D. Vance like flying on Air Force 2 to like help carry Kirk's coffin, but stepping out of step with the military members.
If you're going to do it right.
There's been a lot. Everybody is trying to use the death of this person
Yes.
for their own ends. And that's kind of gross. But that's where we are. So Tyler Robinson is the one who was charged with aggravated murder, among other offenses. Robinson is a white guy from a MAGA family. When I found that out, I got to say it made me happy, not that anybody had died or that a white guy had done it, but just that I thought that like the violence that would have been unleashed
mitigated a bit.
Yeah, it turned the temperature down a little bit. The Wall Street Journal falsely reported that he had a transgender and anti-fascist ideology motivation. And The Guardian also published a sketchy source that declared him left on everything, but both of those reports were later retracted. Look, everybody's got an agenda right now. Everybody. Like the death of journalism and the filtration of politics into literally everything, the elimination of like independence, means that nobody's a reliable source. Like everybody is pushing an agenda. And so the information that we were getting from like law enforcement, I was like, I kind of don't believe them. And that sucks. You know, I don't believe what law enforcement has said.
Well, and Erin, not just for that, but how otherworldly, how truly deranged is it that all of the news, the breaking news on Charlie Kirk was presented by the president via social media or his appearance on Fox and Friends?
It was weird that he appointed himself like the ringmaster.
It's crazy.
Like he was the one that announced that there was an arrest. He was the one that announced the death, not his representative, not his, you know, like a family spokesperson or something. It was like the president announced the death of Kirk. It's very
on X or Truth Social, whatever his thing is called. But that was really like, and you know why he did it? He wanted the clicks. He wanted the likes. He wanted to be the one to deliver the news. It was not the work of a commander-in-chief who, if nothing else, their job is to calm the country. That's really, if you take away everything, really, president just keeping everybody calm and keeping terrible things from happening, violence from erupting, really sort of fundamental to the task.
Yeah.
And
the only way that Trump is comfortable with other people being in the headlines is if it somehow also gets him attention.
Right.
And it just felt like, and I'm saying that because days later, I think 2 days later, a reporter asked him like, hey, how you doing? Like, your friend died? And he was like, yeah, I'm okay. Anyway, I'm building this big, cool ballroom. Like that was
nuts.
It was so crazy. It was like shades of 9/11. Like, yeah, man, well, now I guess my building's the tallest building. It's like, holy shit, dude. Like, did you feel anything, or were you just excited to be somebody that was getting as much attention as possible? Were you excited to be at the center of this? And like, it felt kind of gross and obscene. You know, so here's the slap fighting that's been happening in the media. People leapt onto the story that he was a groyper after, according to Vanity Fair, engravings on the bullet casings used by the killer were engraved with phrases from memes that made it seem like the individual was extremely online. But then there isn't really, I haven't seen any evidence that he was hanging out in the like groyper areas, which is a thing that I just learned about. I'm not going to pretend to be a groyper expert.
No, I'm glad you said it first because I didn't even know how to pronounce groyper.
I mean, it's like I'm online enough to know that it's a thing, but I'm not like somebody who can be like, no, a groyper would never. Like, I would never. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But they're fans of Nick Fuentes, the Your Body, My Choice guy who looks a little bit like the Leprechaun from the Leprechaun movies. And I know I always I compare Fox News' Bride and Killamede to the Leprechaun from the Leprechaun movies a lot. But
I mean, if it fits, that fits.
They both could be leprechaun-y together. But more evidence in the form of text and Discord messages has been released, and it appears Robinson might have just been like a normal guy.
Ish.
Just like a normal online kid.
Right.
Like his family was proud of him. His mom loved him. He was like in touch with his family. You know, he wasn't just somebody who had spiraled off into like darkness. So Discord messages obtained by independent journalist Ken Klipperstein show a very vanilla and pretty apolitical history on Discord. Only 2 messages he'd ever sent contained the words Trump or Biden, and neither of those expressed an opinion. A close childhood friend described him as mostly apolitical. And after Kirk was shot, one other member of the Discord said, Quote, while Charlie Kirk's politics were not acceptable to some, I ask that we all say a prayer for him and his family during these confusing times. Now, Alyssa, I don't know how much time you or our listeners have spent on Discord chats. We have our, listeners.
No,
Discord,
I just do the safe one. That's just us.
Right. But pray for the family of the famous person that was just murdered by somebody in this Discord chat. It's not something that is typical of the darker Discord chats. That does not sound like some dark nihilism factory. It sounds like a place where people just got together and talked about video games and life. So this diverges from an emerging narrative that school shooters have existed in dark, apolitical online forums that kind of host a tangle of nihilistic, nonsensical ideology. So, yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about, the investigation of this case, the weaponization or, the seizing of the narrative about him, because apparently he hasn't said anything to law enforcement.
It says he says he's not cooperating.
Yeah, he says he's not cooperating. Alyssa, does it matter what his politics were? And are people just going to run with whatever narrative they want regardless?
No, I mean, his politics don't really matter. I mean, it doesn't matter if it was someone from the far left or the far right who did it. The country is broken, and we have to, the thing that gets me when you think about this is that, Charlie Kirk, and again, up until this, I really didn't know that much about Charlie Kirk. But after this happened, I was like, I want to know a little bit more. And so I spent a fair amount of time on Charlie Kirk's Instagram. And I watched quite a few of his Q&As that he did with people. And the one thing that you could say about him is that he was accessible, right? He was accessible. That day, he was there doing a Q&A with the audience, taking questions. And so the thing that I think about is what happened to the shooter, what happened to Tyler Robinson that made him think that murder was the answer, right? Because he could have questioned him, he could have tried to engage with him. It's just none of this can be broken down into this is only happening because of one specific ideology. There's a lot more going on that are causing people to do this kind of violence.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's happening because there's been a rise of political violence in this country for the last several years. And people who are motivated to do political violence have access to guns. That's why it's happening.
That's exactly it. I mean,
it's
we talk about a mental health epidemic in this country, but weapons of war are readily available.
Something that has upset me about this is just the absolute feeding frenzy after the story broke to provide a justification for ultra violence on the left.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the day after it happened, there were all these threats called into HBCUs.
Yes.
And I think his political ideology only matters in as much as we can establish that he wasn't a product of the left, and that people who want to shoot people are not typical products of left-wing or progressive ideology. Not at this moment in this country, and it's just not. That's just not true. And it's something that the only person who would believe that is true is a person that's really isolated from dealing with anybody different from them, that is kind of siloed in whatever media bubble they're in, that doesn't really bother to actually talk to any leftists or progressives, or doesn't think that anyone that they know could possibly be a leftist or a progressive or a Democrat. It's really disturbing to me how hungry the administration was to just make this just about regular left-leaning people. They were hungry.
It was rabid. It was so disturbing. And that for all the years I was in the White House, shootings and horrible things like this fell under my purview. How we responded, how I traveled with the president to multiple shooting events in the aftermath, and never once, I get choked up thinking about this, never once did he do anything, no matter who the shooter was, what they believed, what they found about them online. It was nothing but to calm the country, to say things would be okay, to say that we're better than this, and to watch a group of people who also recall, we just didn't have random administration officials firing shit off on Twitter. You know, it was a very different time. And so watching these people literally race to social media, to news interviews, taking to their podcast platforms to be like, this is war. Like the interview that JD Vance, the podcast interview JD Vance did with Stephen Miller, who has the same title I had in the White House, was so scary. The look in Stephen Miller's eyes when they said that they would like avenge what had happened, it was chilling. And I think that that is, even when presented, okay, in the absence of facts, one, but even when presented with facts, they don't pivot. They don't say, you know what, there's a loneliness epidemic. You know, people need to get out of the house, out of their basements. They need to get off their phones. They need to like interact with real people and understand that even if you disagree with someone, maybe they're not the fucking enemy. You know, this week, I think it was this week, there was a online reporter who went with Bernie Sanders to West Virginia. And Bernie Sanders met with all these Trump voters, all these MAGA folks. And like 90% of them left the meeting with Bernie being like, you're great. You know, all the things I've ever seen about you paint you as this XYZ. And I think it was just like, just watching that just made me think that like, you know, if there were so many ways that the administration could have honored Charlie Kirk. They all loved him. That's great. You can honor him without fomenting or creating an environment that is a permission structure for more violence.
Yeah. Hysteria is brought to you by Ritual. Alyssa, do you ever feel bad about not eating enough fruits and vegetables?
Erin, I almost always eat enough fruits, but never enough vegetables. They're just not my favorites.
My problem is I screw up at the grocery store, right?
What do you mean?
I buy too many vegetables and then they all go bad. And then the next time I'm like, don't buy so many vegetables. It is like a
100%
seesaw
same.
of buying too, because I don't like throwing away food. But, you know, luckily, if I am on one of those swings where I am lacking vegetables.
Things are a little slow.
Yeah, Ritual's Essential for Women 18 Plus multivitamin isn't exactly a salad in a pill, but it's formulated to help fill key nutrient gaps that you might not get from your diet.
You know why I love Ritual, Erin?
Why?
Because it's so easy to make part of my daily routine. Some of my old vitamins, I really would have to take on like a full stomach so they didn't upset my stomach, so I didn't have vitamin burps all day. But now I get up whenever I remember. I take my Ritual, little minty essence to kick off my morning. No tummy troubles, ready to go. Easy peasy done.
Easy peasy done. And it's also, well, it works. We know it works. They've conducted a university-led clinical trial for their Essential Women 18 Plus multivitamin to assess its efficacy. And the results were that it increased vitamin D levels by 43% and omega-3 DHA levels by 41% in just 12 weeks.
Their Essential for Women 18 and Over multivitamin contains 9 key nutrients in 2 delayed release capsules designed for optimal absorption per day. Designed to be gentle on the stomach, as I mentioned, with a minty essence, as I also mentioned, in every bottle that makes taking your multis actually enjoyable. Ritual's Essential third-party tested for heavy metals and clean label project certified, so you know you can trust what you're putting in your body. Instead of striving for perfect health, aim for supporting foundational health. Get 25% off your first month only at ritual.com/hysteria. Start Ritual or add Essential for Women 18 and Over to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/hysteria for 25% off.
Hysteria is brought to you by Fast Growing Trees. Fall is planting season.
Yes, it is.
Don't trust the propaganda about it being spring with all those
No.
ads.
This
of
is the
people in
perfect time for
overalls and-
trees.
Perfect time for trees, and you also should be getting your yard ready for next year. I know where I live, a lot of the plants that are native they want to be cold for a while, they want to be wet for a while, and then their roots will take a lot better. So this is the time. This is the time.
We're overseeding here. We're overseeding our native meadow. We are planting 2 new trees because they like to just go dormant and then kick back open in spring.
Well, it's also important to know where to start. And that's why I really love fastgrowingtrees.com. It doesn't matter if you live in the sunny south or if the air is getting chilly where you are. If you are in one of those places where it's getting chilly, I am jealous of you. Their plant experts can help you find the perfect fit for your space. They have all the plants your yard needs, like fruit trees, privacy trees, flowering trees, shrubs, and so much more.
Fast Growing Trees makes it easy to get your dream yard. Order online and get your plants delivered directly to your door in just a few days without ever leaving home. Their Alive and Thrive guarantee ensures your plants arrive happy and healthy. All the plants and trees are locally grown in the U.S., ensuring they will thrive in your yard.
I have to say, in a world that feels very chaotic, gardening and taking care of like a lawn or taking care, I mean, you know what I mean? A lawn, the ground in front of your house, whatever.
Right.
That makes you feel like a sense of happiness.
Pride?
Pride, accomplishment.
100%.
And like in addition to being just looking nice and adding some shade and making your house feel a little more like your home, it also is just like, it's nice. I like doing it.
It's special.
It's special. And you know what? It's special and it's helpful if you have somebody guiding you so that you're not killing everything.
Right.
Because that is demoralizing. Right? Big yard, small yard, no yard. We've got over 6,000 plants to fit any space, from indoor plants to fruit trees to full-size privacy trees and more. Their 14-point quality checklist ensures you're getting the best quality plants possible. Each plant is cared for individually based on its needs, from watering routines to the amount of sunlight, giving your plants the care they deserve from the time they start growing to when they ship to your home.
Erin, you can talk to a plant expert about your soil type, landscape design, how to take care of your plants, and everything else you need. No green thumb is required. Imagine the frustration of bringing new plants home from the store just to see them die in days or weeks. Wanting to get into plants gardening but have no experience? Their website has all the information you need, and every plant comes with instructions and tips to care for your new plant.
This fall, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get 15% off their first purchase when using code Hysteria at checkout. That's 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code Hysteria at checkout. Now's the perfect time to plant. Use Hysteria to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Check out the link below or in the show notes and support the show. And let's talk a little bit about like the people that are the messengers in the aftermath of this. I feel like more than almost any other event, I feel like there's a lot of obfuscation going on, and there's been a lot of shoehorning of things. And the way that Governor Cox and the way that like those text messages between the alleged shooter and the person,
roommate.
The roommate that he was allegedly dating, they don't read like stuff that a 22-year-old would say. You know, like the text messages themselves are like, well, I am a little disappointed that my old man will be missing this gun. I best retract to my vehicle. Like,
right?
What, why would you text vehicle and not car?
Car, truck, whatever.
Truck, like, but car. Like, it just is very strange. And it occurred to me yesterday that I would not have been this distrusting of literally federal law enforcement agents.
Of course.
Up until this point. Right? Like, I feel like it, you know, Donald Trump after 2020 called up the governor of Georgia and demanded, he just needed 11,000 votes or whatever.
Oh,
you know,
right.
find me these votes. I wonder, that behavior makes me wonder if a call like that has gone out to Utah officials or to the FBI. Find me a trans story in this. Like, find me something that can justify a crackdown on people that are in one of our out groups. Find me something. And it just feels like a fishing expedition, not an investigation. Like they're not trying to get to the truth. And so we might never know what the truth is. And also, I got to say, before they'd even like apprehended him, or maybe it was right after they'd apprehended him, we didn't know anything about him. But Donald Trump was saying like on Fox News that he should get the death penalty and it should happen really fast. It's like, okay, well, how is he going to get a fair trial now? Like, if I were that person's attorney, I would be like, all right, Sixth Amendment, it's your time. You're up. Let's
change
do
the
it.
venue to Canada.
Right. I mean, and like the DA who has to now, the DA was probably sitting there like, oh my God, dude.
The DA, did you see the DA? I watched the whole press conference.
No, what did the DA say?
He's just like a gentle old man.
Oh no.
Like because I think this was in Orem, Utah. Let's just say he did not have this on his bingo card rolling into 2025. And I felt like he was nervous. I felt for him.
I've been to Orem, Utah. It is like
I'm sure you have. You're like the queen of Utah.
I'm the queen of Utah. Take that, Utah. I'm the queen of you. I'm invading you.
You are, but you know one thing that's I'm going to go with like a smidge optimistic is that in Utah the hearing will be televised, right?
I don't know enough about the ins and outs of the law. Maybe the judge would be like, I don't want that. Like, maybe the judge has an option. I'm not sure what the actual law is
No,
in
I
Utah.
think historically
But yeah,
there at least is that availability.
It's a possibility
in
that
Utah.
it could be televised. Oh, good. Donald Trump will love that. He'll probably show up to the trial and like sit in the front row, like it's his,
like he did to E. Jean,
like it's his show. Yeah. So I mean, I think the thing that is the most. My biggest takeaway so far in this like tangle of like rumor and innuendo and theory and is that like it's really disturbing to live in a time of rising political violence, one, but then just kind of like the truth itself as a concept just being eroded and breaking down into these tinier and tinier pieces. And to the point where, like, when I saw a story where one of his alleged classmates spoke to a Fox News reporter, I was like, I don't trust that. Like, the classmate probably has an agenda. The Fox News reporter has an agenda. It's a really unfortunate time. This is why politics can't be part of everything.
right?
Because
I
you
totally
should
agree.
be able to trust. I mean, you should be able to trust federal law enforcement. You should be able to trust like a bunch of these entities that now I find myself just knee jerk. Like, yeah, fucking right, dude. I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Right.
All right. Speaking of people who shouldn't be investigating things or are trustworthy sources, I wouldn't trust this guy to find his own shoes in the morning, honestly.
Erin, former podcaster, current FBI Director Kash Patel is humiliating himself on the job every single day. We're not surprised. He behaves like he's an influencer, posting constantly, in complete contrast to the FBI's culture and standard of cautious and secure communication. Following the shooting, he provided a stream of updates announcing that a suspect was in custody and then that the suspect was released. 4 former FBI officials told NBC News that the updates were premature, unnecessary, and undermined confidence in the Bureau. They also reported that just an hour after the shooting, he was dining at an elite New York institution, the original Rayos. Not a good look, Erin.
It's hard to get a table there, though.
It's hard to get a table. Feels like in this instance, whoever he went with could have rescheduled, and he could have just been like, if everyone was so concerned about violence, it seems like he could have been operating from the FBI's New York headquarters and like talking to law enforcement.
Right. Like, I don't know if you needed to fly to Utah and like take the center stage looking like a deer in headlights.
No,
like,
he didn't.
Like,
nobody
shit.
needed that.
Yeah, nobody needed that. But
just out having some fucking manicat, I don't know.
no, I think that's the night you got to stay. You stay home. You postpone.
Do you? I mean, Erin, I know it's a different time. But when bad things like this were going on, we didn't even want to go get takeout from the Thai restaurant in DC for fear that people would be like, this is happening and these assholes care about their pad Thai. Like, I mean, it's just, again, I know it's a different time, but the Rayos was really a like, today you had to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to picture like the equivalent. I think a way to kind of center and understand how fucked up and weird things are now is like, okay, imagine the equivalent happening, like the actual to the line equivalent happening under Obama. Like, imagine if Sandy Hook happened and that night Hillary Clinton went out to a club.
No.
You know?
No, I cannot. It would never happen.
It would never happen. Well, he's also been testifying in front of the Senate Oversight
Yes, he
Committee.
has. Speaking of deer in headlights.
Oh, boy. Is it going well, Alyssa?
No, it's not going great. Basically, he just responds to every question with like, I disagree with the premise of your question. And they're like, okay, so you do agree that X, Y, and Z. But there was one little nugget I found amongst the things I was reading about the hearing. And this was from Fox News, Erin. This is from Fox News on September 14th. Quote, the White House, Bondi, and Blanche have no confidence in Patel. Pam, in particular, cannot stand him. Now, when asked for comment, the White House, Bondi, and Blanche deny plans to remove Patel. But that was where they left it. But I'm just saying, I feel like his days must be numbered.
I think that when it comes to Bush administration officials, it's not whether you're incompetent or stupid or whatever. It's like when you look dumb on camera to Fox News viewers enough times, like because you and I can watch like Kristi Noem cosplaying law enforcement. She's like, she's modeling for Spirit Halloween. And we can be like, that shit's corny, that's stupid. But a person who loves Fox News would be like, whoa, look at this badass chick that looks like whatever. But I think watching Patel kind of sputter and just not make any sense in front of Senate oversight. And then also, I think he said that he had read the Epstein files and that there was no evidence that anybody associated with Epstein had been trafficked, which is a crazy thing to say.
It's crazy.
And then today in the hearing,
he was like, have I read it yet?
Kash Patel was asked during the hearing about the files again, and he said he actually has not reviewed the entirety.
Here's the thing. Do none of them, like, is the quiet part perhaps true? Do none of them read? Because Pam had those files for months, and she's like, they're on my desk, gonna get to it. And then like months later, she's like, well, there's nothing in them.
Unless she never had the files and was told to say that she had the files. And so is Kash
Possible.
Patel, because whatever is in them is so damaging that nobody can read them who hasn't already read them. And people who have already read them.
And they've driven us to these conspiracy theories.
You know what?
They keep changing their stories.
They've got all three branches of government. They've got so many state houses. They've got so many governorships. We get conspiracies. We get the custody of conspiracies now. It's for the left. They're going to require more book reading. They're going to be really fun. They're going to involve like long historical tangents from like professor type people, Rachel Maddow type tangents.
That's my cup of tea.
So actually, it was funny. Yesterday in the office, one of our colleagues came up to me and was like, "Oh, you know who should be your next fucking guy? Kash Patel." And I was like, "Well, first of all, I'm already working on somebody else, and secondly, like, will he last long enough for the video to be like written?"
Is he worth it?
I mean, maybe. We did one on, we've done some on people that I'm like, well, that's kind of small potatoes. And then it's turned out to be a cathartic exercise. but stay tuned.
Chronicling his podcast history turned FBI director.
You know what? There are no podcasters in Valhalla. I say this as a podcaster. We're not going to the place where the Vikings who died glorious deaths on the battlefield go. We are talking into microphones. We are arguing with the mirror. We are not. The Valkyries will not be selecting us. And I don't mean the basketball team. I mean the terrifying Nordic warriors. Hysteria is brought to you by Haya. I have the pickiest child in the world. The pickiest one, gold medalist. If there was a picky eating Olympics, she would be the Simone Biles of those. She would just clean up.
Well, we all have to be good at something.
Chicken
Erin.
nuggets? No way, man. Like
no way.
Oh, she will sometimes take like a little nibble out of a nugget, and I consider that a victory. But last night, I had to tell her that if she didn't eat her mac and cheese, I was going to give it to her little sister, who's one, and that if she didn't eat food for long enough, and the little sister ate more, then she would turn back into a baby, and the little sister would get bigger.
That's incredible.
And she did eat her mac and cheese, but I don't like having to lie about science to my child to get her to eat. I mean, I honestly consider myself lucky that Haya vitamins exist because I think her body is 95% Haya vitamins at this point. She is the pickiest child, and she absolutely loves her Haya vitamins. And I can feel good giving them to her because they have what she needs.
Doesn't she have a special little name for them?
She calls them alphaba vitamins because some of them they're green, pink, and yellow. And so green and pink are like alphaba and Glinda from Wicked.
Right.
And yellow, I don't know what that stands for. Maybe the Yellow Brick Road. I don't know. Typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise. And, my daughter loves candy. She would eat candy all day if she could. But this is not candy. This does not have sugar, unhealthy chemicals, or other gummy additives. Haya's chewable children's vitamin is great. It does what it's supposed to do. It tastes great. It's perfect for picky eaters. It's non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, and everything else that you can imagine. Every single batch is third-party tested for heavy metals and microbials in a qualified GMP-compliant lab using scientifically validated testing methods, so you know the product is safe and nutritious. Haya is designed for kids 2 and up and sent straight to your door, so parents have one less thing to worry about. And are you tired of battling with your kid to eat their grains? Am I?
Are you?
I am. It is a daily argument. Haya has kids' daily greens and superfoods, a chocolate-flavored greens powder designed specifically for kids, packed with 55 plus whole food ingredients to support brain power, development, and digestion. Just scoop, shake, and sip with milk or any non-dairy beverage for a delicious and nutritious boost your kids will actually enjoy. In my house, that is called Power Milk.
Power Milk. Don't we all need some?
We've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/hysteria. This deal is not available on the regular website. Go to hiyahealth.com/hysteria and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Alyssa, here's what I'm feeling a little Sani and a little petty about this week. Okay, Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love.
Oh, yeah. She's been everywhere.
She's got a new book out.
She is everywhere.
After she wrote Eat, Pray, Love, I think a lot of people would have recommended to her to call it a day. You know, go out on a win. Like, it didn't necessarily, you know, it sparked a lot of conversation. It was like a runaway hit. A movie resulted from it. You know, it sparked conversations about like self-indulgence and what is self-affirmation, self-growth versus self-indulgence. And I think that it ended up being like a neutral component of mass culture at the time, right? I'm being generous. I didn't love it. Wasn't for me though. You know.
I mean, I did. It never crossed my transom, as they would say.
All right. Well, she's got a new book out. The memoir is called All the Way to the River. It was released this week. People don't like it. The Guardian published a review, and I think it called it an excruciating read.
Excruciating read,
and
yeah.
I was like, are you just dunking on Elizabeth Gilbert because it's fun to dunk on Elizabeth Gilbert? Like, there's a few like media figures that are sort of like so high on their own supply that like when they come out with something, everyone's like, oh, all right, I'm going to say
salivating, frothing,
right? Like, ooh, new Bret Stephens column. Here I go. You know, here, whatever. It's like it's that sort of thing. People can't wait to dunk on her. But I started reading about this book, and it actually seems really completely fucked up. It is about the death of her ex-lover, Raya Elias. They'd been best friends since 2000 before Elizabeth wrote Eat, Pray, Love. But after Raya was diagnosed with pancreatic and liver cancer and given like a terminal prognosis, Elizabeth broke up with her husband from the end of Eat, Pray, Love. Sorry, spoiler alert if you haven't read it already, but she left the Eat, Pray, Love guy. She left the love and she went to her friend, and they became madly in love, and they became a couple and had a commitment ceremony. But like, it gets more and more fucked up, right? So it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. Why would you brag about that? But then it talks about how she got her back addicted on drugs, like would help her do heroin.
She would go to the needle exchanges and be recognized by people.
Oh, would you recognize?
No, I would never have recognized her in a million years.
Somebody at the needle exchange is not someone I would think would recognize. Well, you know what? Whatever. So Elizabeth also, she helped her inject heroin. She made it clear in the book that she was trying to kill her lover. She was trying to kill her. She got mad when Raya began suspecting her and started pulling away. She got mad at her lover / It's just fucking crazy. So her ex did die.
Yes.
And after that, Elizabeth said that she came to her in a dream and said that it was totally fine for her to write a book about her.
I saw that too.
It's really fucking crazy. It sounds
the whole thing. First of all, she has been on every single podcast I have in my feed.
Oh no.
I cannot escape. But I have not listened. I've only listened to the promo, and I'm just like, this is I can't have this in my life. It's bonkers.
This is another nugget from the book. Elizabeth wrote that she could hear Raya's spirit telling her that Raya likes being dead, kind of digs it, and that Elizabeth should write all the details down because Raya's spirit has no use for dignity because she's dead. So there you have it. It's okay. It's what Elizabeth Gilbert is doing is okay.
That was uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Is she
it's uncomfortable.
Our hosts on your podcast feed? Are you skipping these interviews?
Yeah, I skipped them all. I
Okay.
skipped them all. Yeah, no, I couldn't. There was too much. I mean, it's like, it was, because she also became addicted to drugs.
Yep.
right? That's part of the story. She became addicted to drugs because Raya basically, who had been addicted, got clean and then was like, well, I only have a couple months left and I want to enjoy myself. I mean, it was like, which like, look, I love that for her, you know, but there was something about the trying to overdose her without her consent. It's like super problematic for me. And so I was like, I just, I feel like this isn't something that deserves my eyeballs, my brain space, or my money.
Yeah, it's the final boss of like mid 2010s oversharing essay culture happening in this book.
It could have been an essay. It didn't have to be a book.
Yeah. Woof. Okay, Alyssa, are you sanity or petty this week?
Erin, I'm Sani. I've never been higher on life. Today, as we record Wednesday, is the final episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty, which has been my entire personality all summer. I have never enjoyed anything more.
Uh-huh.
It is my best friend since the 4th grade. Her daughter is 16, and she was up here for a lot of the summer. And so every Thursday we would talk about what had happened Wednesday night before. And so she says to me last night, I was like, what are you going to do? I'm like, what time are you watching? We should watch together. And she was like, well, she and her daughter had a thing tonight. So they were going to wake up early this morning, and they both overslept, and they're not talking to each other because like it was so important. But it has just been like the nicest, most fun community. And I'm like very excited for Jenny Han, who has like written these books. These books came out like I think 10 or 13 years ago at this point. And she's, you know, a child-free woman in her mid to late 40s, and she's having great success, and I hope she gets celebrated. But mostly the community, it just watching online, and look, was this show made for me? No, but I'm not alone. There are plenty of 50-year-olds enjoying themselves watching this somewhat problematic storyline about a girl in love with 2 brothers. But like, it is the reason I think there's like similarities between this community and the Swifties, because Jenny uses all of these Easter eggs, and she has so much, like she has such an ability to understand sort of like to foretell what the audience is going to catch on to. Like she knew in this season when Belly was supposed to go to Paris and she didn't, that people would harken back to Rory and Lorelai, and like when Rory dropped out of Yale. And in one of her scenes, she actually has, when Belly is deciding to go to Paris, a girl's actually wearing a Yale t-shirt. And to me, it's like, I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm so bummed. I've enjoyed the conspiracy theories. I've enjoyed the people who break down all the infinity symbols, the use of the number 14 and everything. I can't wait tonight to see if all the loons I've started following on social media were correct. And I'm excited about it. It's benevolent and it's lovely, and I'm sad it's going to be over.
That's called like fan service. And I think that's like such a sign of respect when like creators of a show are able to put something together that like gets people talking and looking for hidden signals and clues and stuff. It just means that it was made with care. And I think a lot of shit is just kind of like slap lately. And so
it is. And she even talks about it in a couple of the interviews that she did about the ending, because as the diehards would tell you, the book, so it's based on a trilogy of books. The book leaves you 2 episodes ago, so this is uncharted territory for everybody. So they don't know what's going to happen. And Jenny actually has said that, like, she herself is a fan, like, she likes to be a fan of a TV show. And so she really wanted these last episodes to make people feel fulfilled and happy, but also be true to the story. And I was like, you know what, girl? Live your best life.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited. I have no plans tonight. I'm going to open up some of my naked wines, sit on the sofa in my Hysteria sweatshirt, and I'm hoping it's just more than an hour. That's my dream. That's my dream for myself.
That sounds amazing. Last night, my husband wanted to watch Weapons, which I'm interested in because I like the filmmaker, because I thought Barbarian was great, and it's the guy who did Barbarian. And I wanted to watch it before it got like spoiled for me, because I've already gotten like some aspects of it spoiled for me. 2 tenths. I'm like already right on the edge of like losing it at all times. And so I was like, I can't. There's a jump scare that happens.
No,
like, nope.
You know I can't. I can't. Wait, have you watched Girlfriend, the Robin Wright show on Amazon?
No.
Okay, here's what I will say. I would say the plot is simple at best, but it is an enjoyable watch.
Okay. All right.
It's like thrillery, but not too gory.
Oh, right. Well, that sounds, I mean, I like vibes. I just like the tension. Tension is not what I need in my life right now. I don't need additional tension. I need to, like, if I'm watching like Great British Bake Off and they don't show me the cake soon enough, I'm like, guys, show it to me.
You get antsy.
Yes.
I totally understand.
Right.
Believe me.
I'm at an 11 right now, and I need to turn down the temperature, like America itself.